Koalas are often mistaken for bears, but this comparison collapses under even the lightest scientific scrutiny. Koalas are marsupials, evolutionary cousins of kangaroos and wombats, shaped not by brute strength or speed, but by extreme specialization. Everything about the koala's body, behavior, and metabolism revolves around a single obsession: eucalyptus leaves. Eucalyptus is not food in the conventional sense. It is toxic, fibrous, low in nutrients, and lethal to most mammals. Yet koalas eat it almost exclusively. This is not stubbornness, it is mastery. Over millions of years, koalas evolved a liver capable of detoxifying compounds that would shut down other digestive systems. The gut is long and complex, engineered to extract minimal energy from an otherwise hostile substance. This diet dictates everything else. Koalas sleep up to 20 hours a day, not because they are lazy, but because energy is scarce. Movement is expensive. Every climb, every leap, every interaction is calculated. Their slow pace is not weakness, it is efficiency taken to its extreme conclusion. A koala's brain reflects this lifestyle. Relative to body size, it is one of the smallest among mammals, and unusually smooth. Intelligence, in this context, is not problem-solving or adaptability, it is consistency. The koala does not innovate. It repeats what works, precisely and endlessly. Their world is vertical. Trees are not scenery, they are infrastructure. Each koala maintains a network of preferred eucalyptus trees, memorized routes, and rest points. Leaving this system is dangerous. On the ground, koalas are vulnerable, slow, and exposed. Despite their calm appearance, koalas are not passive. Males produce deep, guttural bellows that travel through forests at night, advertising dominance and territory. These sounds, disproportionate to their size, are reminders that evolution does not prioritize aesthetics, it prioritizes function. Reproduction in koalas is equally specialized. Newborn joeys are blind, hairless, and tiny, crawling instinctively into the mother's pouch. But before they can digest eucalyptus, they must consume a unique substance called pap, a specialized fecal matter that seeds the gut with the bacteria required to survive their toxic diet. Without it, the joey dies. No shortcut, no alternative. This is the koala's bargain with evolution, total dependence in exchange for niche dominance. As long as eucalyptus forests remain intact, koalas face little competition. Few animals can afford to eat what they eat. Few can live how they live. But specialization, while powerful, is fragile. When conditions change, there is no flexibility to fall back on. And conditions are changing. As the sun sets over the Australian canopy, a koala stirs. Slowly, precisely, it reaches for the same leaves it has always known. The system still works, for now. The same evolutionary precision that allowed koalas to dominate eucalyptus forests now places them on a razor's edge. Specialization creates power in stable environments, but when those environments fracture, specialists are the first to fall. Australia is changing faster than koalas can adapt. Bushfires, once a natural and cyclical force, have become more frequent, more intense, and less predictable. Vast eucalyptus forests are reduced to ash in days. For animals capable of flight or long-distance movement, escape is possible. For koalas, whose survival strategy depends on familiar trees and minimal energy expenditure, fire is catastrophic. When flames approach, koalas do not flee far. They climb higher, seeking refuge in the very trees that burn hottest. Many die not from fire directly, but from smoke inhalation, dehydration, and heat stress. Survivors often descend into landscapes stripped of food, shelter, and navigational memory. Even when forests regenerate, the problem persists. Young eucalyptus leaves contain higher toxin levels than mature ones. Koalas returning too early face poisoning. Returning too late means starvation. Timing, once managed by evolutionary rhythm, is now dictated by climate volatility. Urban expansion adds another layer of pressure. Roads fragment habitats, forcing koalas to cross open ground where vehicles, dogs, and disease await. Chlamydia, a bacterial infection widespread among koala populations, causes blindness, infertility, and death. Stress weakens immune systems, accelerating its spread. Humans often frame conservation as rescue, but rescue misunderstands the koala's reality. Koalas do not adapt well to change, relocation, or captivity. Moving them away from known eucalyptus species can be fatal. Their bodies recognize specific chemical profiles in leaves. Unfamiliar trees are rejected, even when starvation is imminent. This rigidity is not stupidity. It is the endpoint of a strategy optimized over millions of years for a world that no longer exists. Socially, koalas appear solitary, but their lives are interconnected through overlapping territories and vocal communication. When populations thin, mating opportunities collapse. Genetic diversity shrinks. Recovery becomes mathematically improbable, not emotionally tragic. Numbers do not care about sentiment. Yet koalas persist. They cling to remnants of forests, adjust micro-behaviors, shift activity to cooler hours, and endure long periods of scarcity. Their survival is quiet, uncelebrated, and often invisible. There is no dramatic chase, no heroic confrontation, just endurance. At night, a male's bellow still rolls through the trees, deeper, rarer, but present. It is a signal not just of territory, but of existence. A declaration that the species is still here, still functioning, still obeying ancient rules in a modern world that no longer honors them. The koala does not fight change. It absorbs it, until absorption is no longer possible. And that threshold is approaching. Koalas do not shape their environment in dramatic ways. They do not hunt, engineer, or dominate. Their role in the ecosystem is quieter, but no less significant. By selectively feeding on certain eucalyptus trees, koalas influence forest composition, preventing single species from overwhelming others. Their movement patterns create pathways in the canopy, subtly altering light exposure and plant growth beneath. They are indicators, biological sensors embedded in the landscape. When koalas disappear, it is rarely an isolated event. Their decline signals deeper systemic failure, soil degradation, water stress, biodiversity collapse. In this sense, koalas are not victims at the end of the chain, they are warnings near the beginning. Human fascination with koalas often centers on appearance. Soft fur, rounded ears, a face that triggers instinctive empathy. But this focus can be misleading. The koala's true story is not one of cuteness, but of precision. It is an organism tuned so tightly to a single ecological frequency that even small disruptions cause distortion. Conservation efforts increasingly reflect this understanding. Protecting koalas does not mean moving them, breeding them, or displaying them. It means preserving corridors of eucalyptus forests, reducing fire intensity through landscape-scale planning, and allowing ecosystems to function without constant interruption. In many cases, the most effective action is restraint. This creates an uncomfortable ethical tension. Humans are accustomed to intervention, to visible solutions. But koalas require something rarer, long-term patience and the acceptance of limits. We cannot force adaptability where evolution did not design it. In the future, koala populations may persist in narrow bands of suitable habitat, cooler regions, protected reserves, fragmented but functional forest networks. They may never return to former numbers. Survival, in this case, does not mean abundance. It means continuation. At dusk, in a surviving eucalyptus grove, a koala shifts its grip and settles into the fork of a tree. The air is still. The leaves carry familiar chemical signatures. For this individual, the system holds. The ancient contract between species and environment remains intact, temporarily. Whether that contract endures is no longer an evolutionary question alone. It is a human one. The koala will not change its strategy. It cannot. It will keep eating the same leaves, climbing the same trees, sleeping through the heat of the day, and calling out into the night with a voice far deeper than its body suggests. The rest is up to the world around it.